Alright, so just recently got a new laptop and figured I would do a little comparison. This is the older one. This is the XPS 9550. It's got an i7, 32 gigs of RAM, 512 SSD, and you can see it's got the GTX 960 with 2 gigs of RAM in it. And over here I've got the Dell XPS 9560, so that's 9560, and it's got the GTX 1050 in it with less RAM. Kind of interesting. This is also an i7, but I haven't upgraded the RAM in it yet. It's only got 16 gigs of RAM. It also has a 512 gigabyte SSD. So anyway, I thought I'd throw a game in and just see what the performance difference is like, just with the systems as they are, right out of the box. So I've got Metal Gear 5 booted up. So this is the um, 9550, and you can see I've got most everything set to medium, low. If I take it above this, it really has a hard time with the game. So now over here, I'm going to go ahead and go to options, and you can see I've got pretty much everything at max, and this does not seem to hiccup even one little bit, and the load times are really fast. So I don't know if you can see there the detail on his face, sort of around his nose and everything. You can see the shadows are pretty clear. Just a pretty decent image. If I go back over here to the 9550 and look at that, and you can see everything's more grainy. There's not a huge amount of difference, but it is there. So just kind of leave it there while he moves around a little bit and kind of see how that looks. And we'll come back over here quickly. So you might be curious, how does that look when I beef up the settings? And it looks obviously the same, but it just lags like crazy. But I'm going to leave the settings like they are right now, and I'm holding the camera with one hand, so I'll have to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit continue on each one. We'll see how long it takes to boot up the game. So I'll just bang bang. I'll hit each one, so it's as close as possible. I'll start with the 9550, and then the 9560. Okay. Okay, so they both seem to be ready almost the same amount of time. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of look around. Over here I'll look around. I might have the mouse settings a little different. So maybe looking around isn't the best way to test its fluidity, but I just kind of drive around a little bit. And this is with everything turned on. Okay, and then we'll come over to the 9550 and we'll do the same thing. This feels a little more choppy. but not bad. I mean, this has definitely been playable for a while. It's been a good computer, but it just kind of feels like it's... Adjust the camera here. Okay, back over here. This just feels really smooth. I mean, I don't feel it fighting me in any way. When I say fighting me, it just kind of just feels more responsive. Over here, it's a different story. And I think we're going to really see the difference is when I beef up the settings. So I'm going to come over here. Okay, and I'll just return to the title menu. I'll do the same thing on the 9560. Back to the title menu, even though I did it second. And 9550 still going. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to change the 9550 settings. I'm going to beef it up to the same as the 9560. So I'll just have this here for reference. So 20. Okay. Useful. Adjust. Oh, it seems like it's not going to let me. Max. Okay, so it seems like the game's not going to let me do that. So let's see. I'll switch everything else to high. Enabled. High. 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 On. Or high and on. Okay, so for a reason, even though these are both 4K displays, this one just, it won't let me do it. Now that I've changed these, maybe it'll let me. Nope. That's interesting. I'm not sure what the reason is for that, but anyway, I think this will still be an adequate enough test. So I'm going to apply the settings, and it's loading. And this is going to take a little while because it's trying to hit some buttons here. It's not responding, so I think it's loading. Oh, there we go. Popped up. All right. So now let's watch how this animates. You see how that's kind of choppy there? His head kind of snaps around every once in a while. I can't quite tell if this looks a lot better than before. Compare here to the 9560. I don't know, the movement just seems so much more fluid here. And here. See how the head kind of bobs around every once in a while? I don't know, just seems kind of choppy. So, we'll jump back into the game. See how long it takes it to load. It's ready. And ready. Okay, so we'll drive around a little bit with the 9560. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing. Okay, this is really, it doesn't look bad, but oh man, it's really, I feel like I'm fighting it. I mean, this really feels a lot more fluid. The load times didn't seem, I really thought that the load time on the 9550 would have been worse, but it wasn't that bad. I thought I had configured this before to have a higher resolution than... Oh, that's why it won't let me go higher. Okay, well, I'll just bump up the res. Okay, so I'm now at 4K on the 9550. Okay, let's see if it lets me... Okay, now it's going to let me do it. So I'm going to take it all the way up. And this will be interesting because I think maybe I don't have the 9560 set that way either. So while that's loading, I'll try and keep my camera in both places. While I change the res on the 9560. Oh, it is set to. Okay, so that's good. It's already set there. Alright, and yes, this is really feeling choppy, but I'm gonna keep going. Oh boy, that really did it in. It's totally... I mean, I'm hitting the button and he still hasn't. He just barely started going back now. I'm trying to go forward now. Oh, look how choppy that is. Okay. Okay, so my Steam account freaked out and kicked me out of the game since I was logged into both computers at the same time. And I just didn't finish the video back then. I ran out of time. So I've played the game a bit since then. So I'm at a different scene, but I figured why not go back and finish making this video. So I'm going to go to game settings and show you that I'm now on, well, sorry, graphics settings is what I want. And you see I'm now at 4K. Everything is at its highest possible setting. Okay, and we'll just drive around like before. And so again, this is the 9560 driving around. And as you recall, the 9550, which I don't have hooked up anymore, was really choppy trying to do this at 4K. And this just has no issues whatsoever, well, except for my driving. I'm driving one-handed here and with my opposite hand, but whatever. I think this kind of illustrates the point. You know, so hopefully, like I said in the beginning, my original intention behind this video is to kind of demonstrate why maybe upgrading to the 9560 is a worthwhile thing to do. So I had read around that oh, the specs aren't that much better, blah blah blah, it's really not worth it, don't waste your money. But I don't know, I mean, this just really makes it more playable. Whether it's a waste of money for you or not is up to you, depending upon how much it costs to upgrade for you. But I don't know, this is kind of worth it for me. And I tried this with a couple other games as well, and the difference was noticeable. So hopefully this will help you in making your decision on whether or not to upgrade. And if not, maybe you just found it interesting and enjoyed the video anyway. But either way, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Okay, so just as sort of a follow-up, I was playing a little more on 4K with the 9560, the newer one, and I just wanted to make the note that it did get a little bit choppy during a boss scene or when there's like a lot of things happening on the screen at the same time. But it wasn't bad. It's still totally playable. But I did notice that it wasn't as fluid as when I was just driving around, as you could see. But just in the interest of transparency, I thought I would note that. That way you would know. But you know, I'm sure that if with the 9550, the older one, if I tried that at 4K, I mean you saw what it was like just driving around. With a lot of stuff happening on the screen, I'm sure it just completely wouldn't work at all. So, anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.